welcome to a special live edition of Talking About. Tonight we're going to be talking about Christmas, and in just a moment we're going to be joined by a very, very special guest. But I do want to make one note. Our regular time slot, Sundays at 6 on Channel 34, will be moving 1 hour earlier in January. I will make this announcement again at the end of the show, but tonight we are discussing Christmas, and we want to hear from you how your family spends Christmas. We'll be talking about Christmas traditions around the world. And if I'm not mistaken, I hear a very special guest coming. And that can only be one person. And here he is, the legendary
Merry Christmas, John.
Mr. Kris Kringle.
How are you, my boy?
I'm doing well. Have a seat.
Thank you.
I am so glad to have you here tonight.
I'm glad to be here.
Okay, well,
It's been a long trip.
yeah, nice I see you. Mama Claus isn't feeding you quite so much yet. Is she trying to fatten you up for Christmas?
A little bit. I had 5 apple pies last night and working on some more tonight. And I was about 20 pounds lighter about 2 weeks ago.
Okay, and I see the beard is in fully, but you haven't started the mustache yet.
Well, you know, it's all about patience. Still not even the first day of winter yet. So once we come along to Christmas time, it'll be fully grown in.
Because you're somewhat mythical and magical, does it grow in at an accelerated rate?
It really does. It totally does.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just what have you been doing during your off time?
Making toys. That's what it's all about. It's making toys. It's communicating with the kids. It's going around the world, and a lot of rest. Because as you know, next couple of days coming up. You can only imagine.
I can only
all
imagine.
the traveling, and December 24th and 25th.
All the traveling. Do you supervise your helpers that are at the shopping malls around the world?
Absolutely, absolutely. Big staff that we have. They love kids. They love toys. They love making toys. And I check in with them all year long, and they do a really good job.
Okay, and well, hopefully some of the kids will be calling in tonight. Our number is area code 718-460-9802, and we're talking about Christmas traditions, how your family spends Christmas. If you're a youngster and you'd like to make a request of Santa for what you would like for Christmas, we ask that you limit it to one request, and please call in now at 718-460-9802. Okay.
You know, you talk about my beard not coming in totally. Well, the hair on my forehead's been coming in a lot over my glasses, and so I got to get it trimmed by Mrs. Claus in the next few weeks. In fact, when I came in tonight on my mini sleigh, the other sleigh that I use on Christmas Eve, that's being tuned up. And,
I see.
I left my gloves out there in the other sleigh. Maybe one of my elves can bring me my gloves because it's a little bit chilly here in the studio, but I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so we'll hope that I'm sure one of your elves is watching from backstage, and
Fantastic.
we'll bring him up. I want to talk about a little bit of the history of Christmas. What is your take on the history of Christmas?
Well, John, as you know, things go way, way back. In fact, it goes all the way back to the 4th century, the 5th century. I was a much younger man back then. In fact, I didn't have a lot of gray hair back in the 4th century, 5th century. But when you go back to that time, I sat down with the Pope at the time. His name was Pope Julius I. And we decided that Christmas would be December 25th. And before that time, it was all about Christmas between December 10th and January 6th, at any point during that time. And as you can imagine, trying to make toys and trying to keep on a schedule, it was quite impossible to keep onto a schedule. We decided on December 25th because it really became part of a whole midwinter celebration, and all the kids seemed to like that.
Didn't somebody at one point declare an entire month of Christmas?
Yes, and it kind of wore us out.
I see.
Yeah.
So it was just too much, so we had to whittle it down to one day?
Really had to whittle it down, didn't want to confuse people, and we wanted to make sure that it was all part of to take place right smack dab in the middle of winter.
I see. So December 20, well, it's right around the old solstice.
That's right, first day of winter.
So, which is the shortest day of the year. So I guess that would be an additional reason for people to celebrate.
Well, December 21st is the shortest day of the year, but December 24th, just a few days later. Ho, ho, ho. That's the longest day of the year, believe me, buddy.
I can imagine. Well,
Yeah.
it's probably your longest night.
Just about.
Okay, and we are taking your calls at area code 718-460-9802. And we would love for you to call in and share how you celebrate the holidays, whether it be Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. We're interested in sharing and learning and just having a good hour.
And that's the great thing is that people all over the world, all over New York City, celebrate Christmas all different ways, but they all mean the same thing. They all mean a lot of love and a lot of caring and a lot of family at the end of the year.
Right. So, well, what is Mrs. Claus? You obviously don't have much time for her during the month of December. Does she pitch in with the elves and help out and all that?
Has she been talking to you?
Well, she sent me a little note.
I'll bet. Well, actually, we don't have a lot of time to see each other. We do communicate a lot while I'm in the sleigh back at the North Pole when I'm out visiting the elves all around the various areas. But Mrs. Claus and I, we've been married now for, 500 years. Can you imagine that?
500 years with the same person?
That's a lot.
I've never managed beyond 6 months.
But, I tell you that, you think I'm an old guy. Mrs. Claus still looks just as beautiful the day I met her.
Okay, so I'm sure she'll be glad to hear that. We'll make sure to send her the tape if she's not watching from backstage, because I'm sure she's exhausted from working with all the elves. So hopefully she didn't conk out on us.
I hope not.
But do you know of some of the traditional holiday meals around the world?
I do, in fact. In fact, when I go to places like Jamaica,
Right.
I go there a lot. That's one of my favorite places to go because I get a little bit of time off, a couple of minutes, and I can enjoy some of the warm weather. I'm talking about Jamaica, the island, not Jamaica, Queens, of course. It's all kinds of a huge feast going on there, and sometimes people leave out food and cookies, and it's just really fun to go around the world and try different kinds of food.
I've been told, for example, in other countries where there are various different types of foods and different cultures, and we're talking about how different cultures celebrate Christmas around the world, how your family celebrates the holidays, and we really want you to call in and tell us exactly what your take on the holidays is. And our number is area code 718-460-9802, and we would love to hear from you. And for you
Please
to
call
share
in.
with
Let us know what you're doing tonight. We want to hear from you. And as you can see, the beard is growing even as we speak.
Yes, it is. And I see. Well, last time you shaved, you nicked yourself.
I did indeed.
Mm.
Yeah, I was too busy. The reindeer were kind of distracting me.
So yeah, your hair grows mighty fast, but you're a slow healer.
It does, but fast-growing hair is a sign of health.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is.
So, and we're talking about holiday meals. I mean, for example, the traditional Christmas meal might not apply somewhere, for example, in Australia, where Christmas is in the middle of the summer.
It is. It gets kind of hot when I go down there, but it's really fantastic, and the people are dressed differently, obviously, because it's a different kind of the year, but they're just as nice as they are here in New York City, where it's cold. And I go to Australia.
And
I go to all the continents. I fly over all 7 seas. It's fantastic.
Okay, I mean, from what my research said that Australia's Christmas, since it's midsummer, it's a feast of barbecued prawns, steak, chicken, ice cream.
Oh, yes, I remember the chicken and the ice cream. That was fantastic.
Okay, and is milk and cookies the traditional thing that's left out for you?
It
as well?
is. We definitely prefer milk and cookies. We do not like Snackwells, by the way.
Okay.
People left out Snackwells. Those of you over there on 23rd Avenue in Queens, you know who you are. You left me Snackwells last year.
Okay.
We like good old-fashioned chocolate chip cookies.
Okay. Milk or hot chocolate?
Milk, because then I can share it with the reindeer.
Okay. And just I've been trying, because you are the ultimate expert in this, I've just been trying to do as much of my homework as possible on the way that certain traditions have
Mhm.
gotten started. And just, I believe Christmas trees are of German innovation.
Absolutely.
So, do you remember the history of that offhand, or?
That kind of escaped me.
Okay, in the 16th century, German fir trees were decorated indoor and out. Apples, roses, and I guess it's my understanding that Martin Luther was the first one who put lights and candles on.
Hmm.
So, and I guess as people emigrated to America, and as people spread around the world, it just grew.
Well, the great thing about looking at Christmas trees around the world is the different kinds of things that people put on them. Whether it's candles, whether it's fruit, as you said, or ornaments, homemade ornaments. There are beautiful trees all around the world.
Okay, I see. And actually, I believe I hear Mrs. Claus calling you over there. You might want to go check and see what she wants, and just take care of what needs to be taken care of. And
When the missus calls, you know how it goes.
exactly. So I'm just gonna take a look over here, and we are discussing Christmas and Christmas traditions, and how people around the world celebrate. And we want to hear from you. We want you to call us now. We are live on December 4th, 2003, and we want you to call in at 718-460-9802. And I am looking at my little cheat notes, because Santa is the expert, I'm not. And it was indeed Martin Luther that first lit the Christmas trees. Apparently, when he was coming home one evening in December, he saw the stars shining through the branches of a fir tree, and that inspired him to recreate the effect using candles. Um, and I believe eventually, King George I was a native of Germany, and when he emigrated to England, he brought that tradition over there, and I believe there was a photograph or an etching in the mid 1800s that showed the royal family around the Christmas tree, and that brought it to popularity within England. And as I said earlier, that spread the tradition around, helped to spread the tradition around the world as people moved around the world. Please call us with your questions or comments, 718-460-9802, and we will be glad to let you ask Santa a question.
I'm coming back.
Okay, and I guess he's answered Mrs. Claus's question, and we will be rejoined by Santa in just a moment. Our number again is area code 718-460-9802, and we are live on December 4th, 2003, 718-460-9802. Santa will be rejoining us in just a moment to take our first call.
I'm back.
And okay, well, Santa's coming back, and we do have a caller on the line, and in just a moment, I will ask the caller to say hello. Caller, what is your name?
Hello, I can't hear you too well. This
Hi.
is Barbara. Hello.
Hi, Barbara.
Hello, Barbara.
Hi, Santa. Hi, John. It is, right?
Yes, it is.
I wish you both a happy holiday in advance. Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Barbara.
What did I bring you last year, Barbara?
I wanted to mention that the Italian tradition for Christmas Eve is to get together and eat tons of different fish dishes. And quite a few of them, if you know how the Italians eat.
I guess I should
Tradition in all family.
maybe I should take a lesson from the Italians.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, I can't hear too well.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said I should take a lesson from the Italians because I'm not exactly fat down here, you know.
You like to fish, Santa?
Yes.
You like fish. And then on Christmas Day, of course, there's so many goodies. And then one of the things that was always our tradition was to have lasagna, would you believe?
Lasagna.
Lasagna, ham, everything. Once we've eaten the lasagna, we really are not quite ready for the ham dishes.
Sounds like carbolicious goodness.
It's so much food. That's all tradition. You know, it'd be interesting. I'd love to hear some other ethnic groups call, see what they have along with the traditional meals.
That's right. We have lots of friends all around the world. I love it when I go to different countries.
Queens is a melting pot, so
That's right.
there's so many people out there. They should call in.
And people left me lasagna last year for me and the reindeer, and that was very good.
Oh, did they?
That was excellent.
Gee, did it happen to be at 127? Oh, excuse me.
Oh, I know where you live, Barbara. Don't worry.
You do know where I live.
Absolutely.
Okay, Santa.
And if you're good, you'll get that Mercedes this year.
Okay, great. I'll leave you a lasagna.
All right.
Thanks for calling, Barbara.
Bye, bye.
And again, we invite you to call 718-460-9802.
You mentioned King George before.
Yes.
Great guy. And that's when really so much of the tradition began, so many of those years ago, and the Christmas trees came into being, and so many of the traditions moved from the European part of the world, and it began to move around to the Western part of the world. And, you know, years ago, so many years ago, when just about half the world was populated, and it wasn't really the Western part of the world. It
Right.
just became so nice to see people in the entire world celebrating Christmas.
So, and it has spread around the world.
It has.
And the different cultures have added to the richness of how we celebrate. For example, poinsettias.
Hmm.
And I believe that's a Mexican plant.
Mexican plant, in fact, it was the Secretary of State under our President John Quincy Adams in the U.S. that poinsettias were named after.
Okay.
John Poinsett.
Okay. My cheat sheet agrees. That was what, 1828?
Yes.
Okay, and I believe it was used by the Mexican Franciscans
Yes,
as well.
that's correct.
So, okay, and I believe we're going to have another caller in just a moment.
All right.
So whenever Maria is ready, we'll take Maria's call. Maria, are you with us?
Yes, hi.
Hi, Maria.
How are you, Santa?
I'm very well. How are you, Maria?
I'm great.
Good.
And thank you, John, for doing this show.
It's a fun show to do. I'm glad we could have our special guest with us today.
Yeah, he is special. Well, I just wanted to share with you what the Puerto Rican custom is.
Okay, I'd love to hear it.
We celebrate Christmas Eve instead of Christmas Day. I mean, we also celebrate Christmas Day, but Christmas Eve is a big deal. And we have lots of traditional foods that we have on Christmas Eve, including something called pasteles, which is it's a dish made from ground plantains and ground yuca, I think, and it's filled with all kinds of goodies and of course there's the rice and the beans, and we like to celebrate and dance and whatnot because Christmas Eve is great. But you know what? We also do something called the Three Kings, which is in January
So
sometime.
January 6th?
And since I'm really not, I was born and raised in the U.S. I'm not sure. Sometime in January they celebrate the Day of the Three Kings. Instead of Santa, it's the Day of the Three Kings, and that's usually in Puerto Rico.
I'm pretty sure it's
So
January 6th.
I just wanted to share that with you.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Merry Christmas.
Merry
Merry
Christmas to you
Christmas.
too. When I go to her house on Christmas Eve, what's always very interesting is that the party is just winding down.
I
Whereas
see.
when I go to other places, there's so much anticipation because the party's about to wind up.
Oh, okay.
That it's very, very interesting to see all the different celebrations around the world.
Okay. Does she leave you the chocolate chips, or does she go with another kind of cookie?
No, she left me the chocolate chips. Good job on the cookies.
Okay. And what are some of the other interesting traditions, since we're within the Latin American vein, in other Latin American countries, or does anything jump out off the top of your head?
Well, what I was going to tell you is that we're talking about people leaving cookies and candy for the reindeer and for me. Going back many, many years, Dutch children used to leave out shoes, believe it or not, for me, for the reindeer to protect our feet. That went away after a while, and now everybody leaves things to eat,
Okay, and
which is good.
leaves things to eat. And you mentioned the leaving of the shoes out. Is that in relation to stockings? The tradition of the Christmas stockings, like we have on our.
No, that came around much, much later.
Okay. So, but are they similar?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And again, I want to invite viewers to call. We've had two very interesting calls. Our phone number is area code 718-460-9802, and we're taking questions about how you celebrate the holiday. Questions and comments about how you celebrate the holidays, and how holidays are celebrated around the world.
But you know, we're very lucky to have the celebrations that we have, because there was a time in the 17th century when there was no Christmas celebration at all.
Really, was it banned for a reason?
It was indeed, because at the time, the Puritans felt that there was a little bit too much festivity that was eating into the religious aspect of the Christmas holiday.
Right.
And so from about 1650 to about 1700, I remember it like it was yesterday. There was no celebration at all,
No celebration whatsoever.
whatsoever. I like a couple days off, but that was ridiculous. And I finally got the Christmas celebration back, and it came back around 1700.
Do you find that there's currently a balance between the religious aspect and the general celebratory aspect?
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. It's a nice balance.
Okay. I was looking up also the history of the candy cane, which was interesting. That was during the 17th century, if I remember correctly.
I'm not too familiar with the candy cane, but I do recall it was in the 17th century when I began to see them around.
Okay, and from my readings, I discovered that it was mainly to quiet children. They were made in the shape of shepherd's canes, and to keep children quiet during Christmas services. So, and we do have a caller coming on the line.
Oh, good.
So, and in a moment we'll be talking to Ralph. So as soon as Ralph is ready, he'll say hello, and we will
Hello.
gladly take his comment.
Hello.
Hello, Ralph.
How are you?
Okay.
Happy holidays to you and Santa.
Hi, Ralph.
How you doing?
Very
Let me
good.
ask you a question. I'm of the Jewish faith, but I always, celebrated Christmas, giving gifts, growing up, this and that, and also celebrated Hanukkah, of course, when it came up, because it always sort of coincided. The timing was more or less, the same there. My question to you is, and to both of you maybe, is to see, do you feel that Christmas, the act of the giving of the cards and the gifts, it's become so commercialized and such a hassle that it should be really reserved just for the children, and the adults should take it a little easy with the gifts and going crazy with somebody sends you a card, you feel obligated to send them a card back, and it's like a vicious cycle. It gets to be more of a hassle than an enjoyment as you get older. Can you expound on that a little bit?
Well, in my feeling as a civilian, I don't know if Santa follows the same thing, but I believe it's all in the giving. And if you feel obligated because you got to give, then the feeling of obligation kind of nullifies the feeling of the holiday. It's about the joy of watching somebody receive the gift that you give them, as well as I feel, the religious aspect of the joy of the gift that we were given on Christmas.
Now, I love giving the gifts to the kids, to the children. I love bringing gifts to adults also. I think that you should celebrate as you like. If you wish not to be in a gift-giving and receiving mode, then if somebody brings you gifts, tell them next year, as we say up at the North Pole, tone it down. So, and as long as you find your own energy inside of you to celebrate Christmas and what it means to you, then go with it. Whether you're Jewish, Catholic, Islamic, Chinese, Japanese, whatever descent you are, there's always a place in your heart for Christmas, or Kwanzaa, or Hanukkah.
Right. And speaking of Hanukkah, Ralph, can you tell us a little bit about how you celebrate Hanukkah?
Well, Hanukkah is basically it's over an 8-day period. There are some similarities to Hanukkah and Christmas in that it's the giving of gifts, the emphasis on the children, of course. Little traditional games they play and holiday meals, and so there are similarities. So listen, let's face it. The Judeo-Christian the Christian religion was based upon the Jewish religion, so there's a lot of similarities. If you examine the two religions, you can see a lot of similarities. Although Christmas is, of course, the birth of Christ, Hanukkah is the celebration of the Jews, getting their freedom, and the celebration of, away from slavery and all of this, the 8 nights of Hanukkah. But as far as the gift giving, it always, like I say, it helped because the two coincided chronologically as far as the calendar goes. It's always around in the middle to the end of December, of course, for Christmas and Hanukkah as well. So it made it sort of easier to sort of tie the two together, over the years growing up and everything. So never felt alienated or anything like that, from my Catholic or Christian friends. Always, and I always enjoyed it growing up, seeing the Christmas trees and the spirit of the holiday. Even though I might not believe in the actual meaning of Christmas, the spirit of it always seemed to capture my imagination, and I still to this day I enjoy it. But I just don't like the commercialization of it, as well as the commercialization of Hanukkah. The fact that you feel obligated to give a gift or give a card or do this or do that. You should just take it easy and enjoy yourself. If you want to give, you give. If you don't want to give, that's it. Nobody's going to kill you either way.
I got to agree with Ralph because there is a lot of commercialization going on. I work hard during the year to make gifts for all the people, all the kids and all the adults. And all these stores get involved. All these shopping malls get involved. Let us do it up there at the North Pole. What are we, potted plants over here? That's why
Right.
we're doing all this, and we'll bring you all the gifts. And you guys all just, you enjoy Christmas the way you want. I'll take care of the gifts.
Okay.
And the nice thing about Hanukkah, as Ralph said, is that it occurs around Christmas, so everybody's in the mood. And Kwanzaa, the same thing. Everybody's in the mood, and that's good.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. Kwanzaa, is that a religious holiday, or is that just a holiday that is meant to commemorate a certain, I know it's basically created by the African Americans, but are there certain parts of Kwanzaa that the white people can also, appreciate and enjoy?
Oh, of course. I mean, go ahead.
Absolutely. I mean, Kwanzaa was created by a professor at California State University in 1966, and it was meant as a way for African Americans to remember their heritage and the suffering, and a way to have a positive thing to look forward to. And it celebrates 7 principles. I'm not going to recite the native tongue because I'll mispronounce everything, but unity, self-determination, collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith. And
the thing is that everybody can celebrate whatever they want.
right.
I mean, people who celebrate Christmas can throw a heck of a party. Same thing with Hanukkah, same thing with Kwanzaa.
Right. But you have any major parties planned this year, Ralph? I guess we lost Ralph, but thank you for calling, and we want you to call in at area code 718-460-9802, and we are taking your calls about how you spend the holidays, your Christmas traditions, your personal family traditions. We'd love to hear it. We'd love for you to share it with the audience. And again, the number is 718-460-9802. Okay, so we were discussing Kwanzaa as per Ralph's call, and the different principles, and the principles include that of faith, and it's just, again, the American enriching of the holiday season. So each different culture contributes something to the joy of the season.
And that's the great thing about where we live, is the diversity of everything, and how the faith involved crosses over between different communities, different holidays, different faiths. The great thing I love about the Christmas season is that I learned so much about people's traditions and people's values, because if everyone celebrated Christmas across the world and that was it, it'd get kind of boring.
Right.
If everyone celebrated Hanukkah around the world, you know, that would get kind of boring also. And so it's
Right.
nice to have this, as Mrs. Claus likes to say, a patchwork of culture and values and great people around the world.
Right, and it just makes us a better people and better human beings in general. So, what are some of the other cultures that we haven't covered that you're aware of? And we touched on some.
Actually, you ever been to Greenland?
No, I haven't.
I go there every year. It's kind of cold up there also. Every year. They have a very, very special kind of fish. And what they do is they wrap the fish in a type of fish skin and they bury it till it decomposes.
Okay.
And then they eat it. And apparently it's very good.
Okay. Well, I mean, you can't knock another culture really for.
I've never tried it myself, but they all seem to like it.
Okay, and yeah, I've read about a lot of Scandinavian countries where it's also very cold, and it's my understanding that the Scandinavian countries are where the term Yuletide comes from,
That's correct.
and I believe that's because the turning of the sun, and we're getting back into the shortest day of the year.
In fact, I was responsible for the Yule log now being available on videotape.
Really?
Yes.
How did that come to be?
Well, as you know, it used to be on another network. They took it off the air, but I enjoyed it because I like to watch it all year long. It makes me feel very warm. So I asked the powers that be to put it on the videotape, and sure enough, it is.
Wow.
And if you watch it, you'll enjoy it also.
Oh, you're a punny guy, Santa.
Well, you know, that's why they pay me the big bucks.
Okay, so you brought that tradition over from Scandinavia, because that is a Scandinavian term, and you
let's-
popularized it and you brought it back to television.
Let's just say I had a hand in it.
Okay, I hope it didn't burn.
No. That's why I have the gloves.
Aha. So, okay, and we are taking your calls. Area code 718-460-9802.
Yeah, where are all the phone calls?
So please call. It's
Come on.
It's December 4th. We want to hear from you. We'd love to hear from you.
It's not 8 o'clock yet. Friends isn't on. Give us a call.
Exactly. Survivor's not on. Just call us.
I'm a busy man. I can make time
Took
to be
some
here with
valuable time out of your
I'm
schedule.
here to be with my man John. You gotta call us up.
Okay. Well, I mean,
We go way back.
yeah. So it's valuable information.
Absolutely.
And as the holiday approaches, as you said, you get more and more busy. What are some of the big requests this year? Are the standards applying? Trained.
Trains and bicycles and video games. I love making PlayStations.
Okay.
They're relatively easy to make. The elves like doing it.
And it's really wonderful that all these different corporations have the spirit in their heart to license you, and
Absolutely.
because it would just be a nasty thing if some corporation tried to sue you for making PlayStations.
Well, I have a way of handling the lawyers,
Okay.
so it works out. But a lot of PlayStations, a lot of bicycles. I get a lot of requests for cars. Now we can't always put together cars. What happens sometimes?
Okay. You're talking. For example, Barbara's Mercedes.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
If she's good, and she knows what I mean, if she's good, she could get the Mercedes. Could.
Okay. And what do bad people sometimes get? Is the lump of coal myth, or is that an actuality?
It's no myth.
No myth.
It happens. Doesn't happen too often, but it happens.
So does that have to be a really, really bad boy or girl?
Pretty much. Sometimes I'll bring something that kind of gives them a hint that they were bad, but if they were really bad, then
The lump of coal?
there's one particular man living in Afghanistan. The coal's coming again. Sorry to say.
Ah, okay. Well, I would have pity, but no.
Absolutely.
Well, speaking of Afghanistan,
Yes.
is there a different way that the Christmas holiday is celebrated in some Middle Eastern countries as well? I mean, because I know they're not heavily Christian and the Christmas holiday isn't the dominant one over there, but
They don't have to be Christian, but you know, the love is there, and the feeling is there, and I love bringing gifts, and I love bringing items to our troops also.
okay. And who handles the letters? You get millions and millions of letters around this time of year.
It's a whole different department.
Okay, elves.
Absolutely, absolutely. We have our own postal department, our own zip code. It all gets handled all year long. You'd think that maybe the volume of letters only picks up around this time of the year. No, it goes back to around May or June. There are people out there who want to get a head start on things, and they're very smart to send their letters in and send their cards and letters early.
Okay, and in addition to the letters, we're taking calls right now on December 4th, 2003, and we have Victor on the line. Victor will say hello whenever he's ready. Victor, are you with us?
Hi. Merry Christmas, Santa
Hi.
and John.
Hi, Victor. How do you celebrate the
listen,
holidays?
I'm a man in my 40s, and I wanted to know, can I expect Santa to pay me a visit this year?
Yes, you can.
I mean, I think I've been very good.
You have.
There are a couple of things, though, that I would like to have. I don't know if it's possible. One would be a winning season for the Mets next year.
Okay.
Is that possible?
Well, they might need some different ownership.
What's that?
They might need a new owner.
Okay.
That's on my list too, by the way.
And I would like something for the entire country, which would be a new president.
Okay, I don't really have a hand in that, but it could happen too.
Yeah, well, sprinkle a little dust on your travels, and hopefully it'll take seed.
Okay.
How do you celebrate the holidays, Victor?
Well, I celebrate it every day during the month of December.
Okay.
I feel like Christmas is a season, and as soon as we get past Thanksgiving, it's the Christmas season, and every day is kind of fun. And especially on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, I enjoy the traditional Christmas dinners
That's very nice.
of fish, etc., and spending quiet time with loved ones, family.
Okay. Do you have a large gathering?
Excuse me?
Do you have a large family gathering?
Not as large as it used to be, but it used to be. My family used to be very large. My extended family, we used to be 20, 30 people crowded into one room, sitting around the table, having a Christmas dinner. But now the family has gotten a lot smaller. So,
What kind of food do you have?
excuse me?
What kind of food do you have?
Oh, all kinds. Mostly Italian.
Very nice.
Hook you up with Barbara.
I'm sorry, we have a bad connection.
We'll
I
s-
can't-
we'll hook you up with Barbara
Oh,
for the
yeah,
Italian food.
Actually, I think I know Barbara.
Very nice.
Okay.
Okay, guys, I'm going to sign off now.
Do me
Okay.
a favor, just clean out the chimney this year, okay?
What's that?
Just clean out the chimney this year when I come by.
Okay.
All right, thanks for calling, Victor.
Bye-bye.
And again, we are taking your calls at 718-460-9802. We are live December 4th, 2003, and we would love to hear from you and how you celebrate the holidays with your family. No matter what holiday you celebrate, we'd like to share and learn from each other. So I've been looking at studying my geography as well. And
That's good.
I noticed there's something that I'll get to in just a moment because the phones are just hopping today.
Oh, good.
So, and we have Tom on the line, and whenever Tom is ready, Tom will just say hello to us, and we will gladly.
Hi, Santa.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
All right, pretty good, getting in the spirit. Listen, there's something I've always been concerned about. That's a monumental task. Do you take the same route every year?
I do. I the same route every single year for the last thousands of years. But I really have to because the reindeer then they don't go off course.
And you travel what, easterly all the time to keep the...
Well, I think we need to keep that a little hushed for security reasons.
I
correct.
see. Okay, I was just wondering whether you took the same route every year. I guess, maybe it gets boring once in a while, right?
No, Christmas is never boring.
Okay.
Well, how do you celebrate the holidays?
Quietly.
Quietly?
Very relaxed, very toned down.
Do you have any special traditions that you would like to share with us?
Very similar to the Call of Barber of Italian heritage, and the fish dinner on Christmas Eve is a big thing with our family.
Growing up, what's one of the best presents I ever brought you?
Oh, my Schwinn bicycle. Are you kidding me?
I remember that.
Thank you for that. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tom.
Righto.
Okay,
Tom was a good boy that year.
I'm sure that he does.
Mhm.
That he was.
It's a good lesson.
Okay, we have somebody on the phone.
They hung
Okay,
up.
Our caller hung up.
Wait, I'm gonna mark that down.
Oh,
You have a pen?
but yeah, you better check that twice.
Yeah, I know.
Here you go. Here's a pen. And
What was the name? Okay.
yep, naughty or nice.
Well, it's naughty. Okay.
Okay, here you go.
Thanks.
And yeah, and we're getting into the holidays around the world, and I was looking at possibly I believe there's a Christmas Island or two.
That's true.
And where exactly is that? Is that I believe there's one near Australia?
Right near Australia in the South Pacific, gorgeous part. In fact, I have a house down there. I go there sometimes in the off season, but they celebrate Christmas just as intensely as they do in other parts of the world.
Okay, and getting to other parts of the world, I believe we were headed towards Greece. So, and are there any special traditions that you're aware of in Greece? And I don't mean the movie, and we are taking your calls. We have about 15 minutes left for you to call in for Santa, and we're taking calls at 718-460-9802. We would love to hear from you. And Christmas in Greece.
Christmas in Greece is fantastic because of the tradition.
Yes, Santa. I am the real Santa. Who are you?
I'm the real
Nothing but an
Santa.
imposter.
Okay. Is this a lump of coal coming?
It's more than that.
Anyway, okay, Christmas in Greece.
Christmas in Greece is fantastic because it goes back into tradition years and years ago. I used to save sinking ships that were moving along the water.
Ho, ho, ho.
You are much more powerful than I thought. And okay, saving
This is the
sinking
real
ships.
Santa.
And we're going to. How did you do that?
Well,
And it must have been a monumental task.
it's so far away, so far ago, I can't quite remember. That's why I'm checking my notes.
Okay, but
But I will tell you this, that people in Greece, they fast for 40 days.
wow.
Then they have a huge feast. You can imagine that.
Well, after 40 days, I'd be mighty hungry
Yes.
myself. And well, I mean, moving around the world. I know we're jumping geographically from place to place. I think, well, we had touched on somebody very bad, somebody who was very lump of coal in the Middle East.
Well, you talked about Christmas Island before.
Yes.
The one by Australia. There's also
Yes.
one in the Indian Ocean as well. There are actually two.
Oh, okay.
And it's a little bit confusing, but we make our way around. And-
Yeah, well, the reindeer should know the route by now.
They do.
And the final quarter of the show, I'd like to talk a little bit about Christmas in Bethlehem, Christmas in the Middle East. I mean, that's where it all started.
That's where it all began.
And even
Very, very tranquil night, Christmas Eve in Bethlehem and in the Middle East. It's a nice spiritual place to be.
so, and do a lot of people travel there at this time of year to pay respect as well as celebrate the holiday?
It's huge contingents of people with kids with their loved ones, with the elderly, and some come and some leave, but it's a great place to be.
Okay. And after all is said and done, on the morning of the 26th, do you just sleep, or do you? How soon do you start planning for the following Christmas?
Just about January 2nd.
January 2nd. So you
Take a
you
week.
take a good week off.
Take a good week off, and then it's back to the grindstone.
Okay. Is there anything that you think that I've missed that we can possibly talk about in the last few minutes, as well as inviting your calls at 718-460-9802? And in a moment, I do believe we have a call coming in. Whenever Doris is ready to say hello, she'll just speak her mind and say hello. Doris, are you
Hello.
with us? Hi, Doris.
How are you?
Hi.
Okay.
I'm handicapped, but I love Christmas and Hanukkah, and I hope that Santa comes my way because I don't have too much family, so
Okay. Is there one thing that you want for Christmas?
yes,
What is that?
people to visit me.
Okay.
I want PlayStation or more tapes for PlayStation.
Okay, well, we'll put it on our list.
Okay. Thank you very much for calling.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Doris.
Have a good holiday. So, I mean, you are. How do you be somebody who is so loved throughout the world, and here you are, you don't have this oversized ego? Your modesty,
Well, John, as you know, to be loved by everyone, you have to love yourself, and you have to have a good soul, and the love has to come from within, and that's a secret to it.
Okay. And we'd like to share your love. If you call 718-460-9802, tell us about your love of this holiday season, how you feel about the holidays, and we would love to hear from you at 718-460-9802. We are live on December 4th, 2003.
We
are
want more
taking your
calls.
And we do have a call
Hi,
coming in.
Santa.
We have Mark. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Santa. I just have one request.
Yes.
I have this job, and is there any way that you'd be able to help me keep it? Because they want to fire me before Christmas.
Well,
I'm not sure what I can do to help you keep your job, except to.
I'll do anything, Santa. I mean, I could do dishes, and I can come over and help you. I can clean.
I think the best way to keep a job is to do your best
Absolutely.
at the job. I mean, it's
I've had my job for 1,000 years. It's a good example.
exactly, and you do it so well. And I really want to thank the caller for calling in, and we're
You
gonna.
have your job for 1,000 years?
Yes.
Well, you must be tired of it. I can take it.
I'm not tired at all. I'm just getting revved up, baby.
Okay, thank you for calling. And being so loved, you've been the subject of numerous books, articles, poems. I mean, are there any that stand out in your mind as a favorite? We're not going to recite anything. We don't have the time to recite anything. But do any stand out in your mind?
Well, the favorite is The Night Before Christmas,
Okay.
and lots of great stories about Santa Claus. Some select movies, some movies better than others. I'm
Okay.
hearing about some movie called Bad Santa. I'm not sure what that's about. I got to go check that out. Not sure if I'm going to like it. 'Cause
Well,
Santa's not bad, you know.
Santa's not bad.
No.
And yeah, I've seen that movie, and it's
You
a sto-
have?
yes, it's a story of redemption.
Oh,
So-
okay.
So in the end, he's not all bad.
Well, that's good.
So without giving too much away.
I'm not big on the whole Hollywood license when it comes to Santa Claus.
Okay, I mean,
Miracle on 34th Street, I like that movie a lot. They did a nice, fine job.
well, were you a consultant on that?
Yes,
From-
I was.
Yes, you were.
In fact, the producer of that movie, when he was 8 years old, asked for a movie camera for Christmas, and he got it.
Okay, caller, I believe we have a caller. If we could just pump up the volume in the studio, I would love to hear what you have to say. Jose?
Jose, hello.
Hi, Santa. How are you?
I'm very good. How about yourself?
Very good. Listen, I'm from South America, visiting here in New York. So I want to say Feliz Navidad. Bonito show.
Gracias, señor.
This is Jonathan, okay?
Okay, how do you celebrate the holiday?
We eat turkey.
Very nice. I love turkey. In fact, I haven't eaten enough of it. As you can see, my waistline's not big enough.
This is a nice show. Okay, Feliz Navidad.
Thank you for watching.
Do you have any special plans this year?
I stay with my family.
Okay, do you have a big family?
Yeah, big family.
Okay, are they all coming here, or are you going to be back home for Christmas?
No, I'm going back to my homeland.
Okay.
Where's that?
That's South America, Ecuador.
Very nice.
Are there any traditions that are specific to Ecuador?
Yes, we celebrate an evening. We eat turkey, wine, and like Thanksgiving here, we celebrate the same way, but in Christmas Eve.
Well, I get to Ecuador around 4:30 in the morning to make sure everybody's asleep.
I'm sorry?
The reindeer and I get to Ecuador around 4:30 in the morning, so be sure everybody's asleep.
Okay.
All right, Jose, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jose.
Feliz Navidad.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Well, we're learning a lot about traditions around the world, and we do have time for one more caller. If somebody wants to call 718-460-9802. We have a little under 5 minutes left, and we'd love to hear from you. And we are taking your calls. Again, 718-460-9802. And in the last 5 minutes, if you could boil down, what does Christmas mean to you, besides your busiest workday of the year? And we're going to get to that thought in just a moment, because we do have our last caller, and John is on the line. John,
hey,
whenever you're ready,
Christmas.
say hello.
Hi, John.
I'd like to find out, where's Mrs. Claus?
Mrs. Claus was backstage a few minutes ago, and now she's out in the mini sleigh, and she's preparing a big dinner for me.
Oh, well, did she cook good? What was she doing backstage?
She was just she was meeting with the people back there. She got me my gloves, in fact, and now she's out in the sleigh.
Oh, wow. Did the reindeer take her away?
No, they're outside.
You're
I'd
outside
like
waiting.
to take her away. Do you mind?
How do you celebrate the holiday, John?
Oh, I usually spend it with my animals. I have a farm, and I have a big farm. I have chickens, and I have goats, and I have pigs that fly.
I
Okay.
see. Okay. And I'm wondering
No,
what
I
the
have
color of
turkeys,
the
too.
sky in the world that you live is. I mean, that's got to be some kind of world.
Oh, it's really great. I have the turkeys run around with no heads. It's really nice.
Okay.
Like
well,
I say, we're always looking for a drug-free America. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Anyway, okay, so much for that lump of call. We might be able to squeeze one more caller in, 718-460-9802, but we are talking about what does Christmas ultimately mean to you,
Well,
besides your busiest day of the
Besides the busiest, it's a lot of love. It's a lot of happiness. It's just a time to reflect what you've done during the year, how perhaps you can improve yourself, or how you have improved other people's lives during the year.
Okay, and you do a lot for people. In that one day, you bring a full year's worth of joy to people through the year, in addition to the religious aspect of the holiday, the deeply spiritual aspect. And how would you advise people carry that joyful spirit of the season through the year?
Just have a good soul. Try to be good to others. Try to be good to yourself. Because the love that I have received for all the many years doesn't just happen. It's all about having the love come from within and having it come from your soul. It's really not about toys. The toys are a fun thing about Christmas and all the gifts, but it's all about what's in your heart.
Okay, and with that, I'm going to pause for a moment, and I want to remind our viewers that for the last year we've been the first Thursday of the month on Channel 34. Beginning next month, January 8th, we are going to be live on the second Thursday of the month from January through June. So second Thursday of the month, same time, same channel. Just 1 week later in the month is our live time, and our regular taped time slot, Sundays at 6, will remain there through the end of the year, but beginning in January, we're going to be 1 hour earlier, Sundays at 5. And also, coming up next week on the 10th at, I believe, 7 o'clock on either Channel 34 or 35, we are going to have our 100th episode special.
Really?
So, and that's going to be a look back at the last few years of shows. Got clips from over 20 shows that we're going to be talking about and taking a look back, and you're going to get to see me with a whole lot more hair than I have right now. And I put a lot of effort into the special, and I hope that you will enjoy it. There's going to be more information about that on our website, which is www.talkingabout.info. And you can always check our website to see upcoming show topics, any more information about myself, some of the other hosts that are in the host rotation, and we had a wonderful new addition this year, and you can read all about him on the website. And you could also write to us at Box 20713, Floral Park, New York, 11002. That address isn't going to be up later, so write it down now. Box 20713, Floral Park, New York, 11002. And if you want to write to Santa through that address, I will gladly forward the letters on to you.
And I'll be kicking back and watching your special also.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. And I really, really want to thank you for being here this last hour. We covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, we did.
Had a lot of fun. And hopefully we can make this a tradition. If you can clear an hour for us next year, put it in your calendar now.
For you, John, the world.
Okay, and I want to thank you, and I want to thank you, our audience, for joining us. And I will see you again next time. Our next live show is January 8th. We're still on Sundays at 6. And thank you, and good night.
We'll see you Christmas Eve. Bye-bye.